Let's talk about audience analysis. So for your second speech, the informative speech, and the third speech, I'm asking you to conduct a survey or develop a questionnaire that assesses who your audience is, developing some type of profile about them, their beliefs, attitudes, values, their demographics. So let's get into it. Audiences largely are very selfish, self-centered. Listeners want to know, what's in it for me? Why do I have to listen to this topic? And then, why do I have to listen to you speak about this topic? They want to understand what they can learn from your presentation and how they can take action that will in some way enhance and benefit them. If you can show and demonstrate to your audience that you understand their needs and you can help them achieve their goals, more than likely they will want to listen. So you need to develop a presentation that is audience-centered, and you have to adapt to their needs. And that is, those two of them are critical factors in creating an effective presentation for that particular audience. So what do you do then? Well, it needs to be audience-centered. This will result in a stronger, more tailored, customized speech that's certainly going to resonate with your audience, and they will listen to it with keen interest if you tell them how it will benefit them. And their interest and their emotion and their energy will really help to energize you and your enthusiasm, and certainly will create both a receptive and a captivated audience and a dynamic speaker. So both you and the audience will benefit greatly if your speech is audience-centered. So early in the speech, the very second thing, the reason to listen in the introduction, you tell your audience what's in it for them. And if you do that, and if it's front and center, both in your mind and in their mind, and it links in with your specific purpose, your specific purpose needs to be stated in terms of the audience. The audience will, what do you want them to do? And so if you connect your reason to listen with the specific purpose, you will develop a presentation that is credible. You'll develop common ground between you and your audience, and you'll build their interest. So you need to do audience analysis. Audience analysis means getting some information from the audience. And we have a wonderful opportunity for you to develop a survey, a questionnaire that asks your fellow students, your classmates, about something about who they are, what they value in terms of beliefs, attitudes, and their behaviors, their demographics in terms of age, gender, race, ethnicity, group affiliation, political affiliation, all of these things. But you have to decide what information you need that is going to be relevant and useful for you. You can't ask them 100 questions. We're only looking at 10 questions. So the types of questions that you ask should be guided by the 10 questions that I've put on the Blackboard page. And that is, number one, what do you and your audience have in common? Think of your fellow students. How are you and your audience different? What ideas or examples, meaning supporting material, that you use in your speech will resonate with the audience and with which they will identify and lean into the presentation? How can your topic or information that you provide benefit the audience? How can they use this information? How can it help them? Those three are pretty much the same. What is your audience's amount of interest in or attitude toward your topic? How will you address or compensate for your audience's amount of interest in or attitude toward your topic? If they have high interest, that's great. What happens if they have low interest? How will you compensate for that? What does your audience know about your topic? Where do you need to begin? How much knowledge do they have? If you begin with technical information, you lose them immediately. If you begin with very basic information that they already know, you'll lose them immediately as well. What does your audience need to know? And you have to decide this. They may not know what they need to know, and very often that's the case with audiences. What do they need to know to benefit from this topic and to enrich their lives? So developing the survey. So I'm asking you to develop 10 questions. As you look at these 10 questions, keep in mind, chapter 3 deals with some of these. But before I go to the 10 questions, let me talk a little bit more about, remember, the part of understanding who the audience is knowing something about who you are. What do they know about you? Are they viewing you in a favorable light or an unfavorable light? Okay, so let's look at the types of questions that you can ask the audience. So let me pull up, forgive me, let me see if I can pull this up here in a second. So you can ask different types of questions, and there are basically 3 types of questions that you can ask. And go back to chapter 3 of the textbook, and in chapter 3 you will see the different types of questions. The first is a series of multiple choice questions, and probably the vast majority of your survey needs to be that, asking and giving them categories to choose from or answers to choose from, multiple choice. The second type is a type of Likert scale where it goes from one end to the other, strongly agree, strongly disagree. And then the third type of question is an open-ended question. An open-ended question is where the audience has to respond in some way by typing in something greater, more than just yes or no. All right, that gives you some real information. Now, audiences won't respond to a survey that has all open-ended questions. It takes way too much time. So you have to decide. I would say at the very most, you want maybe 3 to 4 open-ended questions at the end of your survey. So 10 questions, decide, again, what do you need from the audience in terms of information that will help benefit, both in terms of demographics, who they are, psychographics, what their beliefs, attitudes, and values. Connect this with the topic, connect the topic with your audience, and you'll find that your speech will be very beneficial for them.